I'm hoping that this is basically going to work. I get all sorts of strange feedback and goodness knows what. Actually, let me just, I think that, oh no, wrong way. We're getting some feedback, so I'm just trying to turn down the volume on this so that we don't actually hear that. But I'm hoping this has gone live on both YouTube and Facebook. So if you can join me there, that would be great. There is somewhere on here I can see the comments. I'm not sure where they've gone, but anyway, I'll try and find those in a bit. The sound on this wasn't great when I tested it last week, so I'm going to try again today. If the sound is poor, I do apologise. It's because I've got rubbish internet, which is a very long story. We're still waiting for fibre here, but I'm hoping that'll turn up at some point in the not too distant future, because really I need it. So apologies if that's the case. I'm going to check them afterwards and see. Oh, now I've got a little note here, chat overlay. Here we go. Right. Social comments. Oh, hi, Diane. Somebody's actually watching. Thank you very much. That's lovely. So let me know if the sound is poor. If anyone's on Facebook, I have got my Facebook open here, so I'm hoping that'll work. Oh, except it's not showing anywhere at the moment. Oh, let's see if that, do I need to, perhaps need to, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Right, so I should be able to see, if I put that there, I should be able to see any comments on Facebook. It's about propping it up somewhere I can see it. There we go. That'll hopefully do. But if you're live on YouTube, let me know how the sound is today and see if it's any better than my previous live. Anyway, what I thought I'd do today, I was asked by one of my wonderful team members if I could talk about ribbon and the sort of things you can do with ribbon. And I use ribbon a fair amount. I probably should use it more, but there's so many things you can do with it. So today I want to talk to you about different ways to use ribbon. So I'm going to swap the view so that you can see my desk. Look at that, it's magic. Oh, that was the other thing. When I did the first test, I managed to get everything backwards, but hopefully you'll be able to see and read everything today. So let's talk about ribbon. The first card I want to show you, and the first idea, is to simply use a bow. So this is a card made with one of the beautiful free papers that you can get from now until the end of February through Celebration with every £45 order. And I've just used one of the images from the paper. I've stamped a sentiment in the middle, stuck it on a card. I've done the middle as well, of course. You have to do pretty cards. And all I've done is added a bow. So that's simply a length of ribbon tied in a bow. So that is probably the simplest idea for using ribbon, and I would use that sometimes on card. More often, I would add a knot and a bow by wrapping a piece of ribbon around my card and then tying a bow, as on this card here, using the contour stamp set. Really must learn all the names of these properly. So wrapping them round and tying. You can wrap round a ribbon, like here I've put it behind the sentiment on this card, and then I've added a separate bow. So you can mix and match bows, knots and ribbon. So that is a bow with a bit of ribbon. That other one was a knot with ribbon. Hang on. Here's one where I've wrapped it round and added a bow on top. I would nearly always, and this is the tip that I would live by, when I'm wrapping ribbon around a card, I don't use the ends to tie the bow. I wrap the ribbon around as a piece of ribbon, and then I tie the bow and add it on top with a glue dot. I think it looks neater. It's much easier to let the ribbon that you're wrapping around lie flat, as you can see here. And it just makes it easier all round, because it's so much easier to tie a bow with a loose piece of ribbon than it is when you're trying to tie two ends of ribbon. So that's my super tip for wrapping around and adding bows. And in this set, which is the lovely Bear Wildlife set from the catalogue. Again, I can't remember the name. I've done the same thing on all of them using different ribbons, so you can get different effects. You can wrap round at the top and add a knot. You can add round at the side and add a knot. So many different ways to wrap and add knots. Right, where's the next one I was going to show you? Over here, yeah. So another way to add ribbon is to actually put your ribbon behind your image. So this was an old retired set of a card I made and still haven't sent yet. And here I've just stuck 2 pieces of ribbon behind my image. So that allows you just to have a little bit sticking out either side. Looks rather pretty. You can put it, put those over there when I've used them. There we go. You can put just a strip of ribbon behind. So this was one I made with the, again, retired strawberry set. So a strip of ribbon behind a strip sentiment. And that looks really effective. I like using that. I find that a very useful way to use ribbon, is just a strip. I think I've done another one. Here in the owl cards here. Again, I've used a little cross strip of ribbon behind my image. On this one, I've used strips of ribbon just sticking out from the ribbon, and that will make a rosette. And if I turn that one round and had the card that way, you can see you can make a rosette by using a scalloped circle behind your sentiment. That works really well. You can make a rosette using a ribbon sort of ruffled around the edge and then 2 tails. I haven't done one of those to show you, I'm afraid. This one's a slightly different way to put ribbon around. This time I've made it into, if you like, a support ribbon. I get some ribbon here to show you what I mean. A support ribbon has a loop and 2 tails. So that is a support ribbon. And you can have that alone on a card, especially if perhaps it's somebody who's ill with a cancer. Support ribbons have different colours for different types of cancer. So you could use that on a card just on its own. Or you can put that sort of support ribbon thing again behind an image. So that's another way to use ribbon. In this card, I've mixed 2 things. I've wrapped ribbon around the corners of the piece here, and then I've also put some ribbon tails behind my sentiment. Here's another one with some ribbon tails just behind the sentiment. And then, so that is, I don't know, I've lost how many ideas this is. I was going to do 5. I think I've probably got a few more, but a knot or a bow, that was my first idea. Wrapping around a corner or the main part of the card, either with a knot or a bow. Using a support ribbon and using tails or loops or strips of ribbon. So that's 4 different ways. The 5th way, just a sort of, well, I've got 6, I've got loads. I don't know how many I'm doing. I'm just going to go through ways to use ribbon. So in this one, I've actually put the strip of ribbon through the sentiment. I've just punched some small holes in the corner of the sentiment and then put the ribbon through. So I just stuck it down with a little glue dot either side. So that's yet another way to use a strip of ribbon in a slightly different way. And then finally, for the cards anyway, or for now, this is using a strip of ribbon. All I've done is put a strip of tape on my image, and then I've just rolled the ribbon across the tape to make a sort of zigzag behind my sentiment, and that's quite a nice way to do it. And obviously you can have the zigzags closer together, you can have them wider apart. Play with it and see what looks right on the card that you're actually making at the time. So that's yet another way. Other things to do with ribbon is, of course, you can make bookmarks and gift tags and just use ribbon through the slot at the top to make the slot, to make the tag bit on the end of a bookmark or on a gift tag. This little birthday gift tag I've just made, and just again, a little bit of ribbon through the top of it. Another way I use ribbon is that I tie a bit of ribbon on my ribbon scissors. These scissors I keep only for using with ribbon. I don't cut my ribbon with my ordinary scissors, doesn't cut well, but I keep these scissors purely for ribbon, so they stay sharp and they cut it really well, which is nice, so that you can then have a neat cut. If I show you this bow here at the end of the ribbon, hopefully you can, I get that in the camera, you can see how clean that cut is on the end of the ribbon, and then I can tie my bow and stick that on a card or wherever I want to stick it. So some other ways. And then of course, what do you do if you haven't got ribbon? Well, one thing you can do is use twine instead of ribbon. And I have a lot of cards where I've used twine, which I'll be showing you in future. And you can use twine in exactly the same way as you can use ribbon. You can make it into bows, you can knot it, you can wrap it around. If I just go and reach the Valentine's card I made, hang on a sec. I can show you this one, and that's the same principle. When I'm wrapping twine around cards, I like to use several wraps round, not just one. Twine's a little bit thin for just one, so wrap it round several times. And again, I've actually tied this bow separately and then stuck it on with a glue dot, which needs to sit a bit better, but there we go. So this is a little card I'm doing a little craft class taster at the library next week, and we are going to make this little card, which is rather nice, and just use a bit of ribbon on it without the dog hair. I have dog hair on all of my cards. There we go. Without the dog hair, it looks a bit better. So you can use twine in exactly the same way you've used ribbon. You can wrap it around corners, you can wrap it around the cards, you can tie knots, you can tie bows. You can do the sort of rosette thing. It does, in my experience, it doesn't look as good, so I don't tend to use that particular one, but you can use it in all the other ways I've mentioned. But what if you haven't got ribbon and you haven't got twine? Well, why not use a strip of paper as a ribbon? So I've made this card. This is just a monochromatic card, which sometimes I like to just go with. I've actually stuck ordinary iridescent gems on, and I could have used the white pearls and it would have stayed completely white then, my card. But all I've done here is I've cut a strip of card and embossed it in the lovely stripes embossing folder, stuck that down, cut out, I've actually punched out some leaves with the bow punch, made my sentiment and cut it out with one of the dies from the Something Fancy set. And instead of ribbon, I've actually used a strip of paper that I embossed with the cane weave embossing folder, and then I've cut it diagonally and just stuck it round as a sort of ribbon. So never forget, you can use strips of coloured paper instead of ribbon, embossed or not embossed. It's up to you. But I hope that's given you some ideas of how to use ribbon. I can put all these ideas out. You can see some of them just out here. So I hope you have a go. I hope you have a play with your ribbon. I'm getting all mixed up with my envelopes here. It's going to be a big job to sort them out later. Never mind. Not forgetting the basic ways of using gift tags and bookmarks, and not forgetting to mark your scissors. So I hope that gave you some ideas of how to use ribbon. And thank you, Diane, for saying that it sounds okay. That's great. I'm glad it does. I have shut down everything else that I had open in the hope that it would sound okay. I hope that gave you some ideas. Is there anything you want to ask me or anything you want to know about ribbon? Stampin' Up have so many different ribbons. It's beautiful from thin to thick. The current in colour ribbons are lovely. They're really thin and shimmery. Let me just get one down to show you. Reaching across. There we go. These are lovely. This is one of the new in colour ribbons, but they're lovely. Really nice thin ones. These ones are nice because you can actually get different effects by opening them out as well. Can you see how the end... let's put it against something white. There we go. Can we see how the end will just... how close can I get and it'll still stay in focus? Perhaps not. There we go. So you can just see how you can spread that out and make some lovely effects with that one too. So do have a look in the catalogues. If you want a catalogue, get in touch with me or look at them online on my website, craftycarolscards.co.uk. If you want to know about all the ribbons that we've got, all the different types of ribbon that you can see, and all the other embellishments we've got as well, of course. I hope that's given you some ideas. Let me just check. There were no comments on Facebook. Hang on, if I just... Oh, I seem to have lost my live on Facebook. Oh, no, it is there. No comments on that, so that's fine. But if you do have any comments, please just let me know and I will always reply. I like to try and reply to comments within a day if I can. And if you have any questions about making cards, please let me know. I hope that was fun. I hope you learned something from that. And I hope you have a play with ribbon. Let me know what you do. Thanks very much. And bye for now. I've got to work out how to turn it off because I can't remember. There we go, end stream. Thank you for joining me. And hopefully, if this has worked well, I'll be back another time with a live, hopefully next week. Bye for now.